CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 58 of Dual Destinies. Last time, we were cross-examining Solomon Starbuck and dealing with all of his space-related breakdowns. And now we're going to continue forward. Let's go. The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue. No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue. Yeah, that's it. What the hell kind of logic was that? What does that have to do with anything? I swear, why does everyone I idolize turn out to be either sketchy or unreliable, or in Mr. Wright's case, arguably both? I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, it has to be said, your office is ruled by your daughter, who rules things with an iron-fisted dictatorship. Trucy has forced me to perform in several magic shows, unpaid, and all you had to say was, "Them's the breaks." The oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Repair the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't have possibly reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Huh? Not as long as this was along the escape route.
Take that!
What's the matter, Mr. Starbuck? Well, you say not as long as this, but I don't know what the this is. I must admit, I have no idea either. Your Honor! CzarThwomp forgot to turn the timer on! Please, let me try again under the circumstances at the time. Mr. Starbuck couldn't have made it to the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Not as long as this was along the escape route.
Take that!
To get down from the upper level and the middle level where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course! That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
So what to do? Drop clay like a bag of potatoes down the ladder? Yeah, heck you know. What is it with my associate? Why is it with my friends and just being thrown around? But how would that work? At the time you were supporting Mr. Turan over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was not in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds. Well, it's easy on the moon, and gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say? Oh! So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full? Sorry, just burped there. Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth. No! I am done with this! What next? Are you gonna have a little girl hand me a bloody playing card? Engineer! Where's that engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty maintenance. Evacuate immediately! Looks like Mr. Starbuck's blasting off again! What the? He's flying the coop! Help! I've got on the ceiling! Help! Anyone! Elif, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch our rescue mission at once. Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so we can go to space again someday for real. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yeah, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Not that! Anything but that! No! What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know! It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. Witness! Yikes! Yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about
What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Didn't I already state that Space Boy is ironically terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. He took drugs! He took his drugs and combined them with the Mary Jane, the devil's lettuce. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system.
Oh! I sense things are about to nosedive.
You got it wrong! I told them during the investigation too! I don't know anything about any drugs! I never took any medication, I swear!
It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it? How could that be?
Somebody must have slipped them to me! I got roofied, Apollo! I'm being framed! Oh my gosh! I remember, before the mission, Clay gave me this weird-looking grape juice! I asked him about it, but Clay said, "Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck, it's fine!" But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember, because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened.
What? Order in the court. We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything.
Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing.
Ugh! Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember?
I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going to space. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body.
It does? So what is it?
A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. Unlike you, who feels loads of pain and complains every other sentence. Frankly, if given the choice between the two, I would rather go up against a dead man in court. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder.
Oh my! I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hand.
Objection!
Drop the body down? Who would do such a despicable thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself.
So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct.
Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! Huh? What's this?
It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why.
You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body.
I am, for they fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel will leave its marks on the body. Yet according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence!
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer.
Objection!
Then should it be impossible to stab someone through it as well?
It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to the target.
What are the chances?
You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suit works.
Ugh! He's got me there.
And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the cameras recorded him. There's no room for debate about these facts. It's clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Turan.
No!
Here, the report regarding the astronaut's oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx.
Look!
Hey, this report is pretty detailed.
Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen in the tank.
I'm done for. I'm going to prison some space. Hey, you think this is a picnic for me? You think I want to deal with you in prison during my final days? You think I want to spend my last hours on Earth hearing, yes, I'm getting strapped to the chair and I'm hearing, The only sponge I would want at that point wouldn't be on my head, but rather in my ears, so I can at least have some degree of silence. Space boy.
Yes?
Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful, even when viewed through bars.
You mean the stars is seen from prison?
That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own ground for all time.
That's not a bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Brush your Blackwell goddamn good. Spaceship prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope.
Oh? Yeah, Apollo.
You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. And damn it, I am not gonna, for Clay's memory, I am not gonna do to his memory what Mr. Wright did to me. I will not let this courtroom confession be his bloody playing card. He said you never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation.
He said that?
So don't come now and help me prove your innocence for the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Turan.
For Clay? You're wasting your breath. Ugh. Ugh. Roar! Roar! Gah! Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now.
Mr. Starbuck?
I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission.
Right, we'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent, you'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space.
Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash! You've already let everyone down! The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me, Solomon Saul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! What the hell did I just bear witness to?
Whoa! I feel like I witnessed an actual rocket launch.
Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck.
I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through.
Humph! If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your boldness?
Gah! I can't laugh now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see it through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's arguments now. Think, Justice, think. If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now let's see, about this data we've just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body at Launchpad 1. But if I'm gonna prove that false, then there must be something I can use here.
Enough of this fossil baldness. Let's have your verdict.
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now, it says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Tran's had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report?
Of course.
Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes.
You will explain what you mean, Justice Dodo.
It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at this detailed description, you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Turan. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased? I see. Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there is a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence!
I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. Hint, hint, Edgelord-sama! After everything I've gone through, you have barely improved my diet in the prison. I got what? For the entire Turnabout Academy debacle? That fiasco that was that case with the chalk, and the yelling, and the freaking cardboard box witness, I only got a single serving of soba. I asked for 3, but yet you said, oh, so 1 is good enough for you, Mr. Blackwell. And what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining should increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new impression is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence!
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as a mere equipment malfunction.
Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can! The thing to do at a time like this is start by thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with 50% on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown 80%. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it had increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumption here? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. They're going the other way. I know it's the victim carrying the but I have to do this. Maybe they were escaping the opposite direction. The opposite direction? Like how rewinding a veil makes things look like they're repairing themselves? In which case, I think the one who's going to need rewinding is you, Mr. Justice. Penalty! Ugh! I'd rather fast forward through this myself. What had to have happened to make it look like it had increased? What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumption went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Turan, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Turan at all. It was Mr. Turan who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? Order! Mr. Justice, you mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim Clay Turan? It's the only way this riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%.
That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing.
This means Mr. Turan was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection.
I know, Clay! And he would have dropped Mr. Starbuck down that ladder with no hesitation! You don't know what he did to me in the past! He has done a lot of things that would be questionable. Heck, one time he cut the brakes on my bike! For April Fool's Day! I was going down a hill, I was screaming my head off, and he called me on my cell phone, and he just left a voicemail! April Fools! And then I ended up in the hospital with a broken arm and a broken leg. Oscar Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade.
Excuse me?
It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating, but we have proven that Mr. Turan was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone challenges your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party.
Ah!
There were two people who claimed to be first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police?
Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score! Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand? Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And then the bailiff just goes up to the bomb disposal case, opens it up, and just takes out Candace Arms' corpse. I have an announcement, everyone. Did you open the bomb case?
No, we haven't.
Good, because it's full of bad licorice, and that's my argument. You can't stop my argument. Just don't open it. I'll take it out. I'll dispose of the trash inside it. Look, I'm sorry. It was a movie night. I had Twizzlers. I left them in. They got roast in the sun. Look, I'll just dispose of this outside the court.
What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here.
But please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode. Explode.
A bomb? No.
Oh no! Everybody's panicking.
Silence.
Hellish chickens with a death wish, the lot of you! Calm yourselves before all else, and step aside while I leave the courtroom. Come on up, Paul, let's get out of here.
But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? You think I'm scared of death, Athena? I will welcome it at this point, because gosh darn it, I am not gonna live in a world where it's just you, Mr. Right and Trucy as my only friends. Oh God, I can just imagine Clay's funeral's gonna happen soon. And oh God, Gavin's gonna come there, and you know he's gonna have some squirting flowers. He's gonna have squirting flowers just to spite me. I don't care what happens to me. I'm not gonna let some bomb blow up the truth forever. I refuse to let things end here.
Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way.
Hey, ouch! Let me go.
Apollo.
Juniper, she hasn't evacuated yet.
Eek.
Juniper, are you all right?
Apollo, no, not that way. Don't be a simp, Apollo. Oh! to be continued. Yeah, so now basically everything that happens from this point on in the game, basically it takes place after the very first case, Turnabout Countdown. So, let's go. Yes, we're continuing. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. We managed to clear Miss Woods' name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Ted Tenate. Luckily, we had some leftover broth from lunch at Eldoon's, so we just poured it on Apollo. He should be good. It's like a salt tablet. I mean, frankly, it's better than a salt tablet. It has the salt content of 12 salt tablets. December 19th, 3:21 p.m. Write Anything Agency. Apollo is a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Tenate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. Mr. Wright, you gotta help me! The creepy guy who was there when you were at the Hickfield Clinic last year, he's trying to take my shoes! I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. And worse yet, I'm gonna have to foot the insurance. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease?
Daddy, it was the structure. Who do we have now that Polly's gone? Who will we direct all of our stress at? Each other? Polly was the punching bag. He was the groundworks for our stress release.
Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. Yeah, just Phoenix. He's young. He's invincible. Mr. Wright, I have a concussion and several sprayed limbs. My left foot is fractured. My kneecap is shattered. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Alright, enough of this, people! This is no gonna be moping around. Now dry those tears, both of you. You're the only one who's been crying, Athena. Technicalities! Look, we have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo SpaceX case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance.
I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade, right, Daddy?
Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. And then Claudia comes to the office. Alright. I heard the news about her forehead, and I want to let it be known that I've taken care of things. And then Fräulein Detective, bring it in! And then Emma just lugs in a giant headstone. Here lies her forehead. Even in death, he shall be mocked. And then they just have a picture of Apollo's smug face. But it's not just a standard picture of Apollo. It's basically just some caricature where basically where the forehead is just massively huge. Good, now that that's out, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. Wait, right now? We'd better not be running the whole way. There she goes. I'd better go catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy?
Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm gonna bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you.
Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm.
Oh, she's back.
Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, my bag. Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that too.
Alright, you two, let's be careful out there.
December 19th, Detention Center. Visitor's room. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him. Yeah, I love how basically Phoenix's bar of just knowing whether people exist is if he's heard of them. But then again, considering that basically Maya was Phoenix's media outlet in the original trilogy, that kind of makes sense. But anyways, on that note, I think that now would be a good time to end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. Without, see you next time. Bye.